All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kristina Williams, and I'm here to present to you today the risks and rewards of embedded librarianship in an academic setting. So I'm going to start with a few examples of what that might look like, and also talk about some ways that some things to consider if you're interested in hiring an embedded librarian in your academic institution. So embedded librarians are already among us. So these are three positions that were pulled from various ALA job postings and also here on campus. The first of which is the nursing informaticist at UCLA. So this is somebody who's embedded in the College of Nursing, and their two main responsibilities are doing collection development and also working on research and collaboration with nursing faculty. So notice this doesn't say anything about students, which is typically what we think of when we consider academic librarianship. Next, we might have in this position, this is a culinary reference librarian. So this is someone who works with Johnston and Wales University in Miami. And the person who is in this position wrote a 2005 article about what it was like leaving the library and actually offering instruction in a test kitchen that was being used by the culinary students. So this position also had the added bonus of teaching multitasking, which is something that's very valuable for any aspiring sous chef. So lastly, we also have the Resident Hall Library Graduate Assistants here at the University of Illinois. So in addition to this being an additional point of contact with our undergraduates, they also have a collection that's unique from the UGL and other libraries, as well as offering late night help on assignments for that paper that might be due at 8 a.m. the next day. So as you can tell by looking at these three positions, embedded is a flexible term. It can really be applied to whatever context or situation your academic institution might call for. And typically that is divvied up into three different ways of thinking about embeddedness. This is physical, organizational, and virtual. So physical is typically what we think of when we think of an embedded librarian, somebody who is taken outside of the library and put into a host institution or college. Organizational embedded librarian is somebody who has both financial and managerial oversight shared by two or more departments. So this could be a library, this could be a position where 50% of their salary is paid for by the main library. And the other 50% could be paid for by a other college or department on campus. And last but not least, we have virtual embeddedness, which is someone who focuses predominantly on online LAS education, and also working on everything from IT support to coming up with material that's going to be unique to the particular platform in which that education is taking place. So one of the critiques that people most commonly have when they think about embedded librarianships is, if not the library, where? I think a lot of us have this idea in our head that by being in a library, that's what gives us as librarians power. And if we leave the library, then all of our power goes away. I would make the argument that that's not the case at all. And that actually, rather than asking whether libraries are where we should be, I think we should be asking how we can best support librarians who are, quote, out in the field. To those ends, I would highly recommend clarifying the relationship that an embedded librarian might have to its host library on campus. In particular, how it relates to and how it can connect to library culture, resources, and staff. So next, not all librarians are created equal, and this is particularly true in the academic context where budgets are shrinking, and we're having to become more creative with the way that we spend the money that we do have available to us. And just because embedded librarians are flexible, that does not mean that we have to be expendable. I would highly recommend considering the employment status of these positions when writing and designing these positions. So think about how someone who's coming into a new role as a tenure-track faculty, what that relationship might look like with the people in their department versus someone who's coming in as a temporary or a assistant or hourly position. So last but not least, this is probably the most contested point, but I'm going to make it anyways. I invite everyone to consider the difference between collaboration and service. And thinking about what it means to be an active information professional, to intuit the needs of our information communities, rather than simply providing what's been asked. and in turn, hopefully become a valuable asset for the communities in which we're being embedded. Thank you.